carried through.
Two big guys going at it, boy.
This is a big guy battle. Wow.
Well, an advantage for the Ranger. Remke had no helmet for Johnston, so those punches are going to hurt a little more when they land.
They let them go.
One guy's 6'7". How big's Johnston? 6'5"?
No, I think he's 6'7" also. Yeah, that's pretty good size.
Come on, man. You got to love that. Let's go.
That was a long time ago.
Man, we got a lot to talk about. We've missed some time. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We're 14 days into 2026. Kotze, our 15th season, bringing hockey, hellacious hockey, instigating stuff for years. And, man, sometimes I pinch myself, dude. It's pretty cool that we've been doing this long.
Boy, we haven't been on for a while, but boy, is there a lot of crap to talk about.
There is.
We got to save the best for last, though, guys, right? I mean,
yeah. So I want to start with this. I apologize for last week. My internet company decided to do some changes, and I had no service. But the boys did a TikTok show, which way to go, Maddie. Way to pick it up for us.
Where's your winger tonight, Matty? Is he going to hop on a little later? I see he's got a little problems with the internet himself.
So
I told him, to hop on with this. We got our TikTok crew. We got the comments going on, guys. Shout out. It's really awesome, guys. We're going to get into the Rangers a little bit. We'll go around the NHL league. We'll talk about some good hockey, and then we'll talk about the bad hockey that is the New York Rangers. Rough. Real quick, we're over on
Ricky O tonight. It looks like he's got internet issues. So it looks like the world is doing some internet stuff. So I do apologize for last week. Welcome to the 15th year of broadcasting the Instigators Hockey Show. And as always, let me do the warm introductions. Right there. Oh, there he is to my left. We got Matty the Mailman Lips.
What's
Matty,
going on, everybody?
I have to tell you, Matty came on this year, and you're killing it, man. You're really, really big for us. And really,
it's still my rookie year, Kotze. I'm like Matthew Schaefer.
You know what? We're unlike a team, unlike a certain team. We're developing you well.
Yeah,
listen, we're doing.
You're no Lafreniere.
We're not
or Leah Sanderson.
I'm not Celebrini. I'm not Schaefer, but I'm definitely not Lafreniere. Give me like somewhere in the middle.
I got you. And then
you know what's funny? I know I'm starting off earlier, but I did take a look at the draft choices in the last 10 years. It's not just Lafreniere, guys. You guys can shit on him all you want. You guys can crap on him all you want. Kaka was number 2. Remember that?
Yeah.
Filipino was in the top 20. You know what I mean? Leah Sanderson was in the top 15.
And you know who was the best first?
I know, Keandre Miller.
The Keandre Miller was the best first-round pick in the last 10 years. Everyone gets mad at me when I say that. He was.
I think the best one that they had before him was Brady Shea.
Yeah. We traded him away. Just like you traded Keandre Miller. Both to Carolina. You go.
I get it. I get it. We'll have to wait for Ricky O to get on so you guys can launch.
Yeah, let's have him blow a gasket about Keandre Miller. That's his lover. He loves Keandre
Miller. Christmas gift.
Ah, nice.
Isn't that
very
nice?
cool, guys?
I haven't even unwrapped it yet, man.
Yeah. Listen, by the way, for my TikTok people, we are the full view of the show is on YouTube. If you don't want to just look at my face, you can watch the whole show on YouTube, or you can stay on TikTok. Either way, we got the comments flowing in, and pretty fun right now.
The Instigators
Hockey Sow. I got show and tell too. Look at that right there, Minnesota.
I'm telling you.
I told you. That is the man I'm tackling in front of the net. There is Brian McClellan, who runs the Washington Capitals today.
I told you I want the picture of you in, what was it? What year in the playoffs was it you flipped off in hockey night?
That was it, 1985, 86
85.
season against
So
the
Chris
Chicago Blackhawks, third game.
Yeah, Chris Kosopoulos flipped off the camera. Who do you flip off?
Dennis Savard.
Yeah, and I want a picture of you flipping him off in Hockey Night Canada, and I want you to sign it.
Well,
That's what I want.
You make the picture. I'm not very good in the technical department. If you can,
I'll bring it. I'll bring it to you.
Picture, and I'll be glad to sign.
As long as you know,
I should probably make a whole bunch of them and sign them.
You should.
Oh yeah.
You should.
It's funny you brought that up because this past weekend I was at Colton Ori, the Harvey school where he's running their hockey program there. Ranger alumni were there playing in the game. He was trying to find a picture of me to put on their little whatever website, and he sent me the one with the Leafs picture with my finger sticking up in the air, telling everybody I was number one. So
now listen. Where do you think was more pressure, though? Do you think there was more pressure in Toronto or more pressure with the New York Rangers? I mean, because the Rangers didn't break the cup drought when you played. They didn't break it till 94. So what do you think was more pressure?
I think there's more pressure in Toronto personally, but listen, New York's a tough place to play, period. Any sport. If you don't have thick skin and you can't just brush it off, you can.
Everyone says that about New York.
I'm talking about New York now. If you can't do that in New York, then you shouldn't be there playing sports in that city because they have a history of guys that were great in every sport come there and they just can't handle it.
Yeah.
So Toronto's a different kind of pressure because you're talking about the number one sport in Canada, and you're talking about like instead of 5 reporters like you'd have maybe in smaller cities, and maybe a handful in New York for hockey. In Toronto, you got 15, 20, 30 people coming in that room after the game. So there's all kinds of like media in Toronto. It's the same thing though. You got to have thick skin to play in either city.
I agree 100%.
And if you don't have it, your game suffers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we're seeing that a little bit, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to the Rangers in a little bit, guys. We want to go around the NHL. Paulie, you that's all you.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen. So it's been almost a month since our last show. So obviously there's a lot to talk about, and I don't want to skim over too many things. Obviously, things age out, but I had great notes last week. For last week, there's a lot of things I wanted to talk about. Matt, you did a really nice job. It looks like the Olympic arena's up and running now. And
not really.
I'm not 100% on that either.
The NHL and the NHLPA said they're satisfied with it. I mean, they still have like a high school scoreboard up there. I mean, it's embarrassing what they have up there. And there's still a lot of work to be done to make it comparable to professional ice. And I mean, listen, like we've said it all the time. This is a multi-million-dollar investment, really $1 billion investment with these guys. Your top players are on this ice. It can't be crappy quality. I mean, otherwise, you're looking at, a team like Colorado who has McKinnon, Taves, Makar. Those are big-time players. One of those guys gets hurt. I mean, you look at McDavid. You look at Team Germany with Draisaitl or Stützle or Paterka. I mean, the list goes on and on. But, I don't have confidence in this ice for the Olympics, honestly, guys. But they're going to play it. And I know you guys feel like you shouldn't even play the professionals anymore. You should just play the kids. But
I totally agree with you. I don't have any confidence in that place. Tell you, Paul, you know what they should have done is they should have froze the forum, the old forum there. Where they did the gladiators and stuff like that. Probably would have had a better ice surface than by now. I've been reading about it. It's just, that's just strictly amateur stuff, especially for Olympics. Supposedly the Olympic people, the Olympic program. That's just amateur stuff going on. Why this is taking so long. And if I was a player, I might be pulling his shoe and says, Coach, I got a pulled groin. I don't think I can make it. But that's just
you ride the bench and then take a medal at the end of it, right?
Yeah,
the guy that doesn't participate.
Tell them you got a pulled groin, and they can find you with pictures at a ski resort somewhere in Colorado. You know what I mean? During the break.
I mean, there's a professional rinks over in Switzerland, which isn't a far, it's all fairly only a couple hours away driving. But I mean, I just don't understand. Italy had what 6-7 years to build this thing, and you couldn't get a top tier arena built for professional hockey players, and you're just doing a couple of exhibition games now. You're just testing that ice now. We have 4 weeks before we start playing, and now you're testing the ice. I mean, it's just embarrassing for the Olympic Committee, and then some.
And you look at it this way too. All it's going to take is one superstar from the NHL, no matter what country they're from,
right,
to get injured there on that.
Yeah.
If it's
100%.
crappy ice, and that's all it's going to take to cause an uproar. Trust me.
100%.
All it's going to take.
Who do you like, Katsi? Who do you like, Team Canada or Team USA? Or do you like Sweden?
Obviously, I'm a dual citizen born in Canada. I'm going to vote for Canada, but it doesn't bother me when the USA beats Canada. Like Paulie and I have done this for years. It doesn't bother me at all. I want it to stay in North America. I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Maybe Mexico has a shot next time.
Yeah, I wanted to add a couple things here, and I hate to say this because you never want this and you never wish this, but you know what, Katsi, you make a good point. If something does happen, because I want to talk about Gary Bettman. I have a couple of notes on Bettman, but if something does happen to a star player in this situation, do you think maybe, just maybe, the conversations that need to be had will be had? I think it's foolish for these players who make millions of dollars in North America to play this game and risk something like this. We've talked about it. The owners have a lot on the line, and I'm sure the players are getting short or whatever the case may be is, but it doesn't bode well for the league. And my other point is this: if someone gets hurt, seriously hurt, or more than a few players get hurt, does it open up the conversation that now it's time to pass the baton and say, hey, we're going to have to let the kids play, and we're going to have to, as an organization of the NHL, and say, hey, we're no longer allowing the NHL players to breach contract and go play in the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would feel a lot better on it if you had a professional ice like rink. If you had one that had professional, leagues go on. There's ones in Sweden, Finland, all throughout Europe. There's plenty of legitimate professional ice rinks. The fact that this one in Milan is being constructed late and it's just not quality, and you're just starting exhibition games, that's where I tend to agree with you. I still want to see the pros play. I'd feel a lot better if the Olympics were held in the US or Canada, where there's a ton of, obviously, any one of the 32 teams' stadiums would suffice. But that's where I get concerned, because I don't know how this ice is going to be. I mean, you look at, you had the Winter Classic in Florida. They're pushing that. They're having the Stadium Series in Tampa.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I mean, I listen. I mean, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but it's so silly to me. Like when you had Boston versus Tampa, now you have the Rangers versus Florida, and you look at it and you're like, Rangers and Panthers aren't a rivalry, and Boston and Tampa's maybe sort of a rivalry. 5-0, by the way, to the Rangers.
Yeah,
So why wouldn't you?
Background, I can barely hear.
Why wouldn't you? Susie got hurt. Why wouldn't you do Florida and Tampa as an outdoor game, where that's like an awesome rivalry? Where they're
why they're not going to do it matters, because the only people are going to watch it are people that stay in Florida.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
would disagree with that.
Okay, listen. I'm glad he brought up that thing. Did you guys watch the whole game, the Rangers outdoor game?
Yes, I did.
Was that the crappiest production you've ever seen by a TV channel?
Oh, yeah. Well,
first of all, there was
didn't even
no
get a million
sound.
views.
There was no sound coming anywhere from the crowd. Okay.
Right.
Second of all, what was that stupid camera way up in the air, like in Mars, looking down on the ice at these little ants skating around on the ice? Like, if you're going to do an outdoor game from now on, guys, here's what I'm going to let the Canadian in me. How about you import the guys up from Canada who know how to produce a hockey game on TV? Because they were shit. That was a shit production. Great outcome for the Rangers, but a lousy production of TV.
Yeah. That's their last win, by the way, Kotze. They have one inside in 2026.
I'll tell you what, if that's how they're going to do the Tampa for other game with the Boston, I ain't watching it. That was like the worst TV production I've ever seen.
There's a reason the Winter Classic didn't get a million views.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
You can watch it all you want.
Yeah.
That was crap. It was like watch. I'd rather watch paint dry. That's how that game went to me.
Well, it brings me to the next part of my conversation. I mean, I can't sit here and feel good about what Gary Bettman has done for the NHL. I mean, I could say that ever, but I think the last 5 years, it's been the worst. I mean, the television deals, programming, constantly searching for hockey games. I had texted you guys the other day. I was being funny. I'm out of market. I get that. I'm out of market. But isn't that the point? Are you not trying to promote this game? Why do I have to search the world to find hockey games, man? It's like, oh, well, we're going to put you on USA Network and nobody's going to know about it.
Yeah.
This is terrible. The TV deals, the production, the team selections. We all made a point here. You made a point, Matt. Where are these rivalries? This isn't a rivalry. There's no rivalry there. And the production's terrible. The selections are terrible. And now the TV deal is probably the worst TV deal I've ever seen because you have to search to watch hockey games. And this has all been constructed under the regime right now that's doing a poor job of pushing this game to the next level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you want to know what? I did a video on this. The WNBA is outperforming the NHL. Now, there's a lot of factors.
Terrible.
There's a lot of factors that go in. But it's also only in the U.S. that's the market that they use, right? But the WNBA's marketing, even though the product might not be as good as the NHL, you could argue one way or the other. The WNBA's marketing has been better. Now, ESPN does push it. They also go on the off season where they're not going head to head with the NBA like the NHL is. But Gary Bettman has done a horrible job promoting the league. And there's a reason viewership is declining, but all they care about is expansion. All they care about is dollars. All they care about is now we're going from 82 to 84 games, and it's a watered-down product. It's watered-down players because you have extra teams in the league. And guess what? You're jacking up ticket prices, and the product is sucking because people aren't tuning in. And we also got to factor in how many streaming services you have to have. I have Fubo to get MSG. I have to pay extra for that. I have Disney Plus to get ESPN Plus. I have to get Sling to watch TNT, the games on it. All that factors in to be able to watch hockey games. So I'm paying probably $130 a month or more to be able to watch every single Ranger game and then some, because you get blacked out and everything like that. Right. It's cheaper for you guys. I don't know, Kotze, if you get blacked out for Ranger games, but Paulie, you being in Florida.
I don't get blacked out.
Okay, it's cheaper for you guys to get ESPN Plus and then just be able to watch any Ranger game you want, because except when whatever local team it is. For me,
it's funny. I get blacked out. I get blacked out of Philly games and Pittsburgh games when it comes on the NHL network.
Yeah,
that's what I get blacked out on. Here's the biggest problem, okay, guys, and I don't know if it's going to make sense to you, but I sat in on a meeting back in the 80s when we were trying to get TV contracts with CBS and all that stuff back then. And I told you this story a long time ago. I'm going to bring it up again. they looked at us player reps, and they looked at us and said, well, we don't know how long your game's going to last. And I looked at him and I said, and you know how long a baseball game's going to last?
Right.
Here. Okay. That's how, trust me on this, Matty, that's how the TV stations look at hockey. And my proof is in the pudding here. I read the New York Post every day. If the Rangers played tonight, for example, and there's no other New York sports, okay, playing tonight, do you think they're on the headline on the sports page? No. They're way down at the bottom, underneath basketball, underneath football, and underneath baseball.
They'll talk about the Mets almost signing Kyle Tucker. That's what it'll be.
It's the same shit everywhere in the USA. Hockey will never jump even to the middle slot as long as the media doesn't change what they do.
No, they don't care.
I mean, like, Paulie, you and I have gone through this. Stanley Cup playoff last year. How many people are running to the bar and will say Queens, New York to go watch the finals?
Nobody.
But how many are going to go see the finals of the Super Bowl? How many are going to go see the NBA championship?
Yeah.
Or the college championship? Or
Very
the World
good point.
Series? You know, there's still a begrudging liking for most Americans when it comes to the game of hockey. But all the other sports, boy, oh boy, even somebody that doesn't follow it will rush to go to the bar to watch a Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
They won't do it for hockey.
Yep. And a lot of that is marketing. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. You know, the
And you know
marketing.
what? You're right. Does anybody know what games are on ESPN Plus today other than that? There's one game later on tonight that I'm getting.
Yeah.
But they don't. Where's the advertisement for it?
Yeah.
Not there.
I don't see no promos, but I see the NBA promos. I see the NFL promos. I see all the other, sports. I don't see the promo for it.
I get it, because listen, hockey's harder to play because you have to get an ice skink, you have to get skates, you have to get you have to get a lot of different things, so it's a lot harder to play. But listen, when you watch a true game and you watch, from start to finish, I have a couple black friends that really never got into hockey. And then I was like, hey, watch a game. And they're like, wow, this is like really awesome to watch. Because they, grew up on basketball, football, and whatnot like that. But it doesn't get promoted. It doesn't get promoted. And you're seeing a lot more African-American players in the league. You're seeing that. And that's good because whenever you have diversity, that brings in people of different cultures and brings more viewers, more eyes on the product, and more money in the long run. But if the marketing isn't getting out there, and Paulie, to your point, that's Gary Bettman. If the marketing is out there to promote the league properly, it's not going to grow. It's not going to expand in terms of viewership. You're forcing expansion by expanding the league and the teams and diluting the talent pool. But in terms of viewership, it's not going to happen. Plain and simple.
Matty, like in the past, Paulie and I really discussed this a lot. And I always said to Paulie, like when the U.S. junior team was winning all their world championships and beating the Goliath in Canada, I said to Paulie, says, where's Gary Bettman and the NHL putting the money in the USA Today paper, full-page ads? Congratulations to the USA World Junior Champions. You know what I mean? When something happens good like that in American hockey, I want full-page ads in every major newspaper to let everybody know that, hey, hockey's real and hockey's here. But they don't do that.
No, I know.
They don't do that at all.
No. It's funny, too, because I had somebody ask me, okay, and, I get it. Not everybody follows sports and stuff, but I had somebody ask me relatively close to the area, well, who won the Stanley Cup last year? And I said, isn't that funny? You live in the state where the cup was won, right? So I live in Florida, guys. Katsi, you're still in a hockey state, and Maddie, obviously you're in a hockey state. I'm in Florida, right? So you would think, and this is my point, you want to talk about bad marketing, you want to talk about zero promotions, and then we'll move on from this. But I think it's really important for the state and the success of the game moving forward. You have, what do you got? You got Tampa won in COVID. They won 2. You got Florida Panthers that won 2 back-to-back. Okay. You got 4 Stanley Cups in the state of Florida.
6 straight finals.
And people that live here don't even know who won the Stanley Cup. You know why? There's no parades. There's no back page, like you said. It's covered for probably 30 seconds. Oh, congratulations. X, Y, and Z won the Stanley Cup. And then that's it. Where in those states that you're in hockey states, at least because of the fan bases, it's huge. So these out-of-market areas, you know, I mean, Tampa's not a great sports town, or hasn't been for a long, long time. Now that, you know, the Bucks started to win, and obviously the Lightning started to win and stuff, you know, you get a lot of that fair weather fanning type stuff. But in neither one of the Florida markets is this game, and you got 4 years of Stanley Cups in what? In 6 years? 5 years?
But 6 finals. Tampa made 3 in a row. Florida made 3 in a row. They've been in the finals every year.
Billboard. You don't have a congratulations on billboards while you're driving down the road. You nothing.
How much money would it cost the NHL to secure a board in every major city that they have a hockey team in?
Yeah. You know?
Really?
It's just it's sometimes it's just dumbfounding to me how Bettman has kept his place. And I get it, the expansion, you know, we talked about that. What was the last expansion? Seattle, not the Kraken, the Utah.
Well, technically it was Seattle. Utah just moved to Arizona.
Well, I don't know what the price.
Well, the next team's going to cost you close to $1 billion.
I mean, and for what? For what? So
a rich man's story.
Terrible job. Terrible job
promoting. That's what it's going to come down to.
Terrible job promoting. Terrible job with the classics. You know, I used to be the biggest fan of the outdoor games. Now I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, it's not promoted well. It's not done. The productions are terrible. So I know everyone's probably getting bored with us discussing it, but I thought it was pretty important.
I have to do it, though.
Yes.
Got it.
Sometimes we got to do. Let's go.
It is 6-0 Ottawa.
I don't want to talk about it right now. We're going to talk about that later because we'll get a final.
I'm just letting you know.
They're 1 point away from a touchdown, converted touchdown.
Hey,
that doesn't even happen in Canada.
You guys, it doesn't matter. We'll do a show on a Wednesday night if they're playing because nobody. I didn't want to talk about this, but I'm going to tell you right now.
Let's talk about good hockey teams.
I've been watching hockey for 45 years, man, or longer. This is the first year where I'm like, oh, the Rangers are on? 5 minutes later, I'll turn it off and go find something else to do. It's terrible, but I want to talk about it later. I want to kind of move on. We got things. I want to go into who's hot and who's not because I like to do this every week. So, Maddie, I got to give you props. One of the hottest teams in the league right now, if not the hottest team in the league right now, is the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're 10-0 over a brilliant span of 10 games. I think they've tied their franchise record. Buffalo 8-2 over the last 10. And on the west side, Colorado 7-2-1, which they're incredible.
That's almost like a horrible record for them.
Yeah. And Seattle, the Kraken are also 7-1-2 in their last 10. So pretty good. And obviously, who's not? We'll talk about them later. Rangers are 2-6-2.
And Winnipeg.
And Winnipeg and Anaheim is 1-8-1 in their last 10. So
West Coast Rangers and East Coast Rangers are the worst team. Okay.
So Matty, we'll start with you, man. What's what you know? How would you like to add or subtract from this?
So listen, let's give some small market teams love. I talk about Tampa Bay. They were my preseason pick to win the East. I think right now they're the most complete team in the East. Even when Hedman and McDonough hurt, Moser is really coming real well after that 8-year contract. Kucherov remains to be one of the most underrated players in my opinion. That everyone talks about McDavid, McKinnon, those guys. Kucherov is probably going to get 100 assists again this year. He's been really, really fantastic. But let's talk about Buffalo because Buffalo was a team at one point where everyone was like, "Oh, they fired their GM." They've won 12 out of 14 games. They lost their last one. At one point, it was 12 out of 13.
Yeah.
Buffalo has been really good. We see this out of them a lot where there's one point in the season where they just get really hot. But, I mean, Buffalo's interested in Artemi Panarin. If they go for a big fish with the new GM, with a new regime, their GM that made the trade for Panarin to go to Columbus is also is the Buffalo's current GM. So maybe there's something there. The East is wide open. I mean, I think Tampa's the best team in the East. Buffalo has a lot of talent. They always have. They can produce talent. They can develop talent. They're finally putting it together. I'm happy for the people of Buffalo. I'm also a New York Jets fan, so now the New York Jets will be the longest streak without the playoffs if Buffalo can get in. But I think it's good for the sport of hockey. Buffalo's a good hockey town. I hope they get in. I hope they keep it up, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Listen, Buffalo has always had the talent the last 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
But, it took them a while, I guess, to grow because when you look at their roster, they're a fast team, but they're also a big team, too. They're not small. It's not a small hockey club. Those
Power, Tuck,
and they can all move.
Thompson.
So, I agree with Matt. It's time for them to, put up or shut up, and they're starting to put up. I mean, I think we all at one time earlier in the year, I said it. I think all the rest of you agreed with me that Buffalo had no chance. And all of a sudden now they got a chance.
They got a
I
chance.
mean, listen,
I'm happy for them too, Matty, because I grew up watching the Buffalo Sabres, as a 12-year-old when they came into the league. I used to get the Buffalo stations. And it is a good hockey town. It's really a good sports town, period, for its football and its hockey.
Yeah. Yep.
But I agree with Matty too, though, Paulie. Anybody gets it in the East right now has the potential to win the East. That's
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I mean, listen, they had a guy like
looks great. Tampa looks great now, but earlier in the year they didn't. Florida looked good, then they got hurt. I mean, the East is just like Washington's taken a little bit of a nosedive lately. They're way up there. Yeah. I mean, it's just. And then look at Detroit. How about Detroit's coming on like strong dogs now too?
Yeah.
And I will throw this in there. Patrick Kane is about to break Mike Modano's record in the next week or so, by the way.
Yeah.
Most points ever. So that's a good plug for one of the best American hockey players ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Buffalo does get its guy like Panarin, they'll be dangerous. They can beat anyone. Panarin would fit right in because they're a smaller hockey team, and he's got a lot of skill. But yeah, I think the East is wide open. That's why I think it's going to be very interesting at this deadline because a team like St. Louis is open for business. They've made it known that they're going to be trading, whatever assets they have. Yeah. So you figure as a West Coast team, there's going to be a lot of East Coast teams interested. The Rangers are the worst team in the East, and yet they're currently drafting 6th. That means there's 5 teams in the West worse than them. So if you're in the East, and it could be between conferences, but usually East and West Coast teams usually want to trade with each other. So there's a lot of teams in the West that aren't that great that might trade with these East Coast teams. It'll be interesting to see at the deadline which team in the East loads up to get that little extra edge. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch.
The one team that we didn't mention on the not so hot side, obviously the New York Rangers on the east side are I think the worst in the East with 2-6-2. Dallas, the Dallas Stars are 2-4-4 in their last 10 games. So you would talk, quite the juggernaut. So they're going through a little bit of a cold streak right now on the west side of things.
Yeah.
Do you think Dallas are? You think they're going to be buying up at the deadline, or do you think they're going to stay pat?
I think
I don't.
they go for it, 100%. Go ahead, Kotze.
I don't think they're gonna.
No.
Personally, no. Look at it. Every great team. Every team that's had a good run so far for a 10-game stretch in the season this year. Every team you're talking about here has had some bad stretches.
Yeah.
There's not one team you can say in the East or the West, other than Colorado. We're complaining about Colorado being 7-2-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
But every other team has had great stretches and great runs, and then they've also had their laissez-faire couple of weeks. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say this. I think it was Ricky O that thinks Dallas is like big time stuff. I don't buy them as a Stanley Cup winner personally.
Wow.
That's just me.
Okay.
I don't buy them. I don't know why. I just don't.
Yeah.
Listen, I think every team goes through a little bit of rut. Dallas is. They've got some injuries. They got some people banged up. But they always like to make the big splash. They make the big splash with Rantanen. I trust Dallas more than I trust even Minnesota. I still think Dallas comes out of the West. They'll find a way. They're a veteran team. They've been in the conference finals 4 out of the last 6 years. They played well against Colorado. Minnesota will be tough. That'll be a tough first-round matchup. But you got to remember, you're not just going to waste these guys' prime. I mean, Jason Robertson's going to do for a big pay raise. So this is the last year of a fairly reasonable cap hit for him. So they're going to go for it. They're going to make a move, Dallas.
Dallas and Minnesota, proof's in the pudding. You have to show us. You know what I mean? They're like on the cusp every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not just been 1 or 2. Every year for the last 3, 4, 5 years. And they've been on the cut. I want them to show me. Show me.
Well,
that's all.
I mean, listen.
Just show me.
You make 4 conference finals in 6 years is pretty impressive.
But nobody cares if you made 4.
I understand that.
I'm just telling you, nobody remembers that.
I get it. I'm just saying it's hard to win a Stanley Cup.
Well, it is hard to win a Stanley Cup. But everybody keeps pumping, not you, but like a lot of people talk about them as. And to me, I'm just gonna stand by what I always say about Minnesota. I've been hearing about it for 10 years now. Do something.
Well, they did something. Got Quinn Hughes.
Do something.
The reason I bring this up, gentlemen, is because between Dallas and Minnesota, I would think. And my point was, is do you think Dallas has finally come to the point where they and I agree with Maddie. I think that Dallas is going to try to make a splash for the deadline. Is that a place where you see Panarin? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't see
into that already.
I don't see Panarin going east. I don't think he's going to stay on the east side.
I'm going to stay with the Ranger stuff.
It's totally up to him.
I haven't thought of where I think Panarin's going to end up, but
it's 9-10, so it's Ranger time, boys and girls.
Go ahead. You think he'll end up in Dallas then?
Well, no. I'm asking the question open-ended here to say, I don't think Panarin's going to wind up on the east, in the Metro or on the east side here. I think Drury will try to move him out west. Dallas, Minnesota, these are teams, and the reason why I bring that up is, Matty, you make a good point. These teams, year after year, are trying to get there. Obviously, Minnesota's made a move. They're trying to get serious. That they're placing here, and then Dallas. We talk about Dallas. They're constantly there, but you always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Something's got to give. So. These are the areas where I see the teams that would be willing to pick up Panarins and maybe some other contracts. Well, not that Panarin's going to have a contract going into next year, but my point is, are going to make the splash. And my next question is, 1A would be, do you think with the way Zibanejad is playing, I know his contract's ugly, but there are teams that are trying to win that are willing to eat some salary to win a Stanley Cup, because it all goes away when you're putting the puck in the net, and he's having one of his better years.
Well, listen, to your point about Panarin, Drury has no say where Panarin goes. Panarin has a full no move. So if Panarin says, I want to go to the New York Islanders, he will, and that's the only team I want to go to, hypothetically, he'll end up on the New York Islanders or he'll stay with the Rangers at that point. So Panarin has total control. Drury doesn't have, and we scored. Woo, let's go. All right, Gabe Pro.
Is that his first?
There we go. But listen, Panarin has total control where he goes. I see him going to Florida to go back with Bobrovsky. I totally see that. I can see him going to Tampa, but I don't think that's a perfect fit because they already have a winger like Kucherov. I could see Minnesota. I could see Carolina, although Carolina doesn't have a great prospect pool. From what Ricky has said is that Drury wants to work on an extension, and he's not trading Panarin until after the Olympics. And that. I mean, this game might speed up the process, whatnot, but Panarin will get a good return. The Drury has no say. They'll say he'll go to Panarin and say, where do you want to go? And if Panarin's nice, he'll give him 3, 4, 5 teams to work with, and hopefully it's a bidding war. But I mean, I could totally see him in Florida. That team could use a little extra offensive pop. I could totally see him in Minnesota or Dallas. So I mean, we'll have to wait and see on that.
I think he's going to end up in the East, Paulie. I disagree with you 100%.
Wow. Where would you think you would go?
Well, Matt kind of stole my thing. I think Carolina is probably a pretty good place for him to go. They're another team that you guys keep talking about, bridesmaids.
Yeah.
You know, close but no cigar every year.
Yeah.
You know,
very true. Yeah.
And my second choice would be a tie between, watch this, Toronto or Montreal.
Toronto?
Wow.
They need defense. A lot of guys on TikTok are saying LA to Panarin to LA.
For what? Why would you go there?
I mean, I don't know. Kopitar's last season. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
But, you know, the bottom line is with Panarin, guys, is that Matty's already said it. I've read all about it. He don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
He can give you the old this one here to management and say, sorry, I'm playing out my contract and I'll be free as a bird at the end of the year.
But you want to know something? Panarin wants every cent. He made that clear. He doesn't want to take a $2 deal.
We've gone through this, Matty. If you're GM right now, are you getting a long-term deal of the Rangers for the money he's making now?
Let me get my point.
Absolutely not.
He wants every cent. And
Good,
so if he wants every cent, he's going to want to go to a team that has a chance to win the Stanley Cup. And if he wins a Stanley Cup and he produces like he's been producing for the regular season and he produces in the playoffs with higher skill guys that the Rangers have, and he wins a Stanley Cup, he'll get that big money contract.
You guys are missing something here. If he ends up going to a team like you're talking about in Tampa, and he ends up going to some of these high-end teams, he's not going to be the number one dog anymore.
Doesn't have to be. That's fine.
He's not going to be the number one dog anymore. Period. He's not going to be the guy that they go to. He's there to kind of like Gabrick was when he went to LA.
Right.
You know, kind of like that at the end of his career. That's what it's going to be like.
I can totally see.
As for his status with the Rangers, if I'm the GM, I'm going to be nice to him. I'm not going to screw it up like I did with Trouba and everybody else. I say, listen, if you want to be moved, let me know where you'd like to go. If you don't want to be moved, then there's nothing I can do about it. But if you think I'm giving you a 2 or 3 year extension at 14, 15, 16 mil, bye-bye.
Listen, I can totally see Florida as a team. I mean, I think Florida, the one weakness that the Florida Panthers have had is they sometimes struggle to score. They could use a little extra pop. That team has all grit and grinders, so even though Panarin's not a physical guy, he could slide in on that top 6, play with either Tkachuk, either with Reinhart. If Barkov gets healthy, he can play with Bennett and Marchand and have a little more skill. And I know he's good buddies with Bobrovsky.
Don't they have a Panarin already in Reinhart? I mean,
he's not a Panarin. Reinhart's more of a goal scorer.
Not physical, just pure goal scoring and playmakers.
Well, you could definitely use him on you don't have to play him on the same line.
I'm just saying though, it's hard to have two of the same kind of guy with that kind of status. When you got Barkov getting healthy, you got, like you said, Tkachuk, you got nobody ever talks about Marchand anymore. These guys got 20-something goals, 25
he's been
goals
great.
again this year at 37.
Yeah,
he's been great.
Wow, I would have never guessed that in a million years at that age.
What a signing.
My hat's off to him.
I mean, Washington, Elliot Freeman's bringing up. I got a couple people on TikTok saying maybe Washington for Panarin. I don't see Washington. I don't see in the division, but it's happened.
For Tom Wilson.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay.
And throw in
I would love Tom Wilson on the team. I would love Tom Wilson. I mean, listen, the Ranger fans hate Tom Wilson. No Ranger fan should hate Tom Wilson. The Ranger fans should hate the fact that the Rangers don't respond when Tom Wilson bullies them. That's what you should hate. Because you know what? If you had a player like Tom Wilson, you'd love every second of it. Because not only can he score, he has that little edge. And he's won a Stanley Cup in Washington for a reason.
Listen, you know? Tom Wilson be wanted by every team in the league, period.
I agree. That's why he's on Team Canada.
Every team in the league. Drool to get him.
So 100%. Move around. Let's move around the board here. We'll kind of move away from the trading for a few minutes here and talk about. I mean, Kotze, you're the former player here, and you know I said this before. 45, 50 years of watching hockey, and this is the worst team I can remember. Like I have no patience to watch them anymore. Like what's the score right now, Matt? What is it?
6-1.
6-1. They lost 10-2 to a Boston team.
Yeah.
They blew a 2-0 lead the other night.
That debacle, so I was happy.
They blew a 2-0 lead the other night. This team has nothing that I get text messages and messages every Ranger game. They suck. What are they doing? What's going on? The other night, Maddie, you did a TikTok. They're finally chanting in the Garden, fire Drury. Something's got to give here, Koch. You're the former player. I mean, that locker room's got to be a fucking mess. And I know you played in a different era. You know, you guys were much.
No, but there's no different when your team's like crap.
But I mean, as a professional
dressing room, when you're walking into a dressing room that has a losing atmosphere, it's not an easy thing to do as a player. Yeah. It's not. But listen, I said this to you last week before we got gonged. I want to believe that these guys care. Okay, because as an ex-player, I one thing I prided myself on, maybe I'm not Bobby Orrisk, and maybe I'm not this, but damn it, you're not going to embarrass me on the ice, and that's the way I played every game. Me personally, if we're going to get the shit beat of us and get beat 9-2 or whatever, I'm not going to back off from anything. I'm going to try to play my best the whole time, okay? So I'm wondering, you know, sometimes it looks like they are, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, you've had streaks this year where Panarin didn't play well, but now he's playing really good. Zibanejad has been better than he's been the last 2 years. You know, the defense looked really good early in the year, no goal scored. But now I'm starting to harp on the defense. Like, when things are going bad, how about you play physical? You guys are big. You're big and strong, but they don't want to hit nobody. It's just it's a mess, Paul. There's not enough diapers in the world to clean up the shit that's going on with that team right now. Yeah. I feel bad for them now. I mean, I want to get critical, but it's hard to do because I've been through that.
No, I don't feel bad for them one bit.
It's so hard for these guys to walk in their room every day and think it's a new day when it's really Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for them one bit. You get paid money to do a job that you're not doing very good.
Well, let me ask you.
I mean, I don't feel bad for them one bit.
Hold on 1 second though. I just kind of want to push through with a little bit of this though. Kotz, I tell you, you know, and I mean, I think you're going to be able to kind of relate and bring a little light to this, but we were watching a game. I think you and I were talking. You had called me like, you know, you're watching this nonsense. I said, yeah. It seems to me, Maddie, I mean, you guys got to be able to say this. It seems like even when this team looks like they're playing okay, right? I forgot what game it was, and then they get a, you know, the Buffalo game. The Buffalo game. You and I were talking. They get a fucking 4-minute power play or whatever it is at the end of the game. They're down by a goal. Boom, boom, boom. They get some shots. Nothing goes in. We hit a fucking pipe. We hit a crossbar. Nothing's happening. Bang, turns it around, shorthanded goal. They're down 2 goals now. It seems like this has been the year of that, where even when they look like they're playing okay, they can't score. Who's hitting the pipe? Who's missing a shot? Whose stick broke? It just seems like the year of the black cloud. Not only are they not playing well, but everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for them this year. That's how I watched some of this, and I'm like, you couldn't script more garbage in a game for this team than what I've seen.
Well, nobody envisioned this starting the year. I don't care who you are.
Right.
Did anybody envision this going into the season? No. I didn't.
No.
But certainly, I think all the people in New York didn't. I think all the Ranger fans didn't.
You expected something between 24 and 25.
Matty, I get it what you're saying there. You don't feel sorry for him, but it's got to the point now where it's ridiculously bad now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I understand that part of it as the next player because, if you turn right, you should have turned left. Oh, geez, I should have went here. I should have went there. I'll give you a good example. You didn't watch the beginning of the game tonight, but Gavrikov gets the puck at the blue line, and Schneider goes to the net. Next thing you know, it's a 2-on-1, and I'm saying to myself, this is what you're talking about right now, Paulie. Guys aren't even thinking right now on the ice.
Yeah.
Their hockey intellect is gone. How did you get to this league and do a play like that, Matthew Schneider? Or no, not Matthew Schneider, but Schneider. Okay? Why are you going to the net? You're a defenseman, for Christ's sakes. You're not Cale Makar. You know what I mean? You're not one of these fleet-footed offensive defensemen in the league. And what happens? Boom, 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 goal. They're not even thinking right, Paulie, right now. The whole team. And
it's the whole organization.
It's not just one player or another. This is a team thing. The young guys that they're bringing up, play the shit out of them now. We got to find out whether these guys are capable or not. And I'm still suspect on them. I'll be honest with you. Because when I watched Seattle the other night, my God, big, fast, guys that can skate.
Right.
I haven't quite seen that out of the youngins that they brought up in the last year or so. Guys that can really fly and move the puck. So you got to play the crap out of these guys sooner or later.
Well, listen,
Marlowe needs more ice time. Perot needs ice time. Bedard needs to come back up. All these guys got to come back up, and you got to find out.
Yeah.
Now, not next training camp, and not during the season.
They finally played Othman, and Othman hit 2 posts the other night. He played well.
Yeah.
He's a couple inches away from scoring 2 goals. When he hit the post, it happens. But listen, this team, it's not just the players. Mike Sullivan's done a terrible job coaching, terrible job adjusting the lines. I think Trish Sherry's been a terrible general manager. I think James Dolan's been a bad owner. I think the fish rots from the head down. The Rangers organization is toxic, I think. And you really, truly need to scorch earth this whole thing. I think you really need to strip it to the studs. But if you're going to keep Chris Drury as your GM, I don't have confidence in him rebuilding this team. So I really, truly believe the Rangers are in the worst position in any of the 32 teams in the league, by far. You're a win-now team with multiple 30-year-olds and older locked up till 2030, and you suck. As a win-now team, you're old, you're slow, you have no prospects in the pipeline, and you have an incompetent GM, and even if you do get draft picks, the guy who's the general manager of the Rangers, Chris Drury, has had one player, Noah Laba, that has double-digit points for his career in 31 draft picks. One player that has double-digit points for their career, not the season, their career. So, at what point do you have any confidence in this rebuild? I mean, maybe you trade some of these guys for prospects instead of picks. But again, you look at Scott Morrow. Scott Morrow looked very promising in Carolina. I think he's looked horrible in the Rangers. You look at Keandre Miller, everyone ran him out of town. Keandre Miller's been very good in Carolina. Like I said, he would be good in Carolina. I knew his time was up in the Rangers. He wouldn't have succeeded here. Cabo Caco.
It's hard for a guy like Scott Moore as a defenseman to get any kind of confidence when you play 3 games, you sit 3. You play, you sit. You play.
He had power play one time when Adam Fox was hurt. It was a turnover machine.
But if you're going to use that as a basis and a fact, then your coach is at fault because he said about. I'll tell you flat out right now, both you guys. He gave it to Lafreniere yesterday in the New York Post. Well, why did he do that to Panarin at the beginning of the year when he sucked? Why did he say that about Zibanejad when he sucked? Oh, that's right. Can't touch those 2 guys. We'll pick on the guy we can pick on. This is the problem here. You're not getting any consistency with any of these guys playing.
Listen.
You want your young guys to learn? You want them to grow? How do they grow when they don't get a consistent shift? How do they grow when they're not in the lineup? How do they grow when they go from the bus to Hartford and back?
Listen,
all you want. It's the facts.
I don't understand going out. Panarin and Zibanejad have been very good this season.
And they were crap at times early in the year.
So was everybody. The Rangers were shut out for 3 straight home games to start the year. Everyone was crap. The whole team was crap in the beginning of the year when they couldn't score. And now we can't stop a nosebleed. You want to know how valuable Igor Shesterkin is? Look at we have given up 6 goals, 4 goals, 10 goals, 5 goals, and those 5 goals were in 2 periods. The 6 goals were in 2 periods. So that is 5, 15, 19, 25 goals. 25 goals since Igor Shesterkin's been hurt. That is in 2, 3, 3, and 2. That's 10 periods of hockey, giving up 25 goals since Igor Shesterkin's been hurt. You want to talk about how valuable he is? I've gotten on him, and I know he's a great goaltender, but boy, he has covered a lot of mistakes and this and that, and this defense is getting exposed right now. Jonathan Quick has been awful since Shesterkin's been hurt.
Shesterkin was playing great up until he got hurt.
Yeah.
It was the old Shesterkin because he wasn't that great early in the year. He was getting away with it early in the year. He was really playing good the last month or so before he got hurt. But what I'm seeing now too, Paulie and Matt, is this defense, this core of defense, the 6 guys that they put out there every night. Can you bump into somebody? Can you move somebody out from in front of the net once in a while? Can you show a little anger and a little meanness? Nah, we're good now. We're in New York. This is the way it happens. We get settled in, the bright lights, the big city. We don't have to do that shit anymore. I did that in junior, but I don't have to do it now in the NHL. Yeah. I did that in Seattle, but I don't have to do that here anymore. I mean, this is what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, well, to Manny's point, I mean, I tell you, man, the culture is really bad. And Kotz, how does that get fixed? Because it really's got to start at the top.
It starts with honestly, Paulie. It starts with your owner. He's got to make a decision.
Yeah,
nobody can do anything in the front office that without the owner's okay. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, the guy that pays the bills is in charge.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know about you, but when you run your business and Matty's business, there's somebody at the top that makes all the decisions for you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Understood.
And either you implement or put them in, or you don't. But you can't just say, well, I don't care what he says anymore. I'll just do it my way.
Yeah. Now listen.
And if you do happen to get a position like that, God bless you. You did well.
Listen, I'm going to ask the former player here. If they fired Chris Drury tomorrow and they hired you, Kotze, to be GM of the Rangers, what are you doing to fix this team? And what are you doing knowing the deadline's coming? What do you do? What's a 3-year plan to get this team somewhat competitive and somewhat on the track to being an eventual Stanley Cup contender, if that's even possible?
Well, the first thing I do is talk to the superstars on the team, the guys that get paid the most money. Obviously, Zibanejad, obviously Panarin. We have a nice talk with them. I'm not going to go in there, with my fangs out and stuff like that. I'm going to tell them exactly what I think. You've been great Rangers and all that stuff, but I don't see the future with you guys. Now, I understand that my previous GM gave you a no-trade contract, and I will abide by that if that's what you wish for. But if you see, I want to see if I can see a way out of it with them and make them feel good about where they're going and get something back in return. But you know what I don't want? I don't want a middle-of-the-road player and like a draft choice. I want nothing but draft choices. You have to go through the draft again. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fire everybody that scouts for this team.
Yes.
To the bottom.
Jed Moormeyer, Tanner Glass is gone.
Fire them.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say it flat out here, guys. Go look at the roster of not just the players, people employed, all college guys. I'll leave it at that. I want people that have played and know the game NHL way. Not college, not junior, not beer league, not ever. You don't need to have a high-end superstar Hall of Famer to come in and be your head scout. There's many guys out there that know the game, just couldn't play the game as well as the superstars. I want a complete change of the scouting. Everybody, top to bottom. You're gone. Yeah. You're gone. Period. End of story. I want guys that understand how to translate the people we want on our team to play in the NHL. Not how they did in junior, not what star they were in college. I don't want any of that shit. I want to know, what do you think their projection is going to be once they get to the National Hockey League?
Well, let me tell you guys something.
And proof's in the pudding. Go look at the drafting over the last 20 years. Go look at it. It's horrible.
I couldn't agree more.
Horrible.
Let me tell you guys something right now, right? I don't think it's an understatement to say I don't think the Rangers will make the playoffs again in the 2020s. I think that's a realistic possibility if you're talking about stripping it down. If you retool this with 33-year-old players like Trocheck, Miller, and Zibanejad, who are going to only get worse from here. They might be solid players in the league, but they're not going to be top 6 guys that you can rely on and elite players. If you retool and don't rebuild, you're not making the playoffs this decade. Plain and simple. It's just not happening. You have to strip the studs.
I got to interrupt. You made a really good point what you just said there. I'm going to go to your Dallas team. Jamie Benn is not the player he was 10 years ago, right? But he's still an important player on that team, isn't he? And he's accepted the lesser role.
And how much does he make a year? Do you know?
I have no idea.
$1 million. He took $1 million.
Even the last 5 years, there was
he took a $1 million contract. He said, "I'm the captain of this team."
There was a time when Jamie Benn was an automatic pick for the Canadian Olympic team.
Oh yeah.
Right? Now, in the last 5-7 years, he's gone down in his production, but he accepted the fact that he's going to be a third liner now, not a first liner, not a second liner. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. That's what you need out of your veterans to understand if you're going to keep them. And they got to play for a lesser amount of money. If you really want to be a New York Ranger, if you really want to be a New York Ranger, here's what you got to do. You got to take the salary I give you.
Yeah. I mean,
Jamie Benn's a perfect example of a veteran that accepted. He went from the high echelon of one of the top 10 players in the league to now he's just a grizzled veteran that loves his team.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. But I mean, I think, listen, you strip it to the studs. You have to get good drafting in, plain and simple. And you have to weaponize cap space. And that's what I think. You have to get the mindset, if you're the Rangers, that you're going to be bad. You have to get the mindset that you're going to suck for a couple of years. You have to get that in your head. I mean, you look at Chicago. They were awful for a couple of years. They drafted first, second, and third overall the last 3 years. San Jose was second, first, second. Okay? These teams admitted they were bad. They weaponized their cap space. They took on bad contracts to get assets. That's what you're going to have to do. If you don't do that, if you don't fully commit to the rebuild, you're just going to be stuck in the same old cycle. And the you want to know why the culture sucks? Because you have 4 head coaches in 5 years, you have the same core. At some point, it's not the head coach.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll say this. I think Gerard Gallant was the best Ranger head coach.
Yeah.
And Drury chewed him out in that New Jersey series, fired him after overachieving in 2022, put in a flawed roster that was soft in 2023, getting Patrick Kane with a bad hit, getting Tyler Mott because everybody loved him from the previous year when you should have got more size. Instead, you had a bunch of small, skilled guys that got bullied by New Jersey at the end of that series. And, you know, he got a chewing mat. He got in an argument with Gerard Gallant, and he ended up getting fired. And then you got Peter Laviolette, who was fine his first year. And then, you just keep doing retreads.
You know that was about the Patrick Kane trade, right?
Oh, yeah.
Gerard Gallant didn't want that happening. It was running smooth ship. It was running pretty damn good.
He didn't want Kane. He didn't even want him. He didn't want him.
He didn't want him. That's what he argued.
Why would you? He had a bad hit.
Patrick Kane. And he stuck it up Drury's ass.
He's playing pretty good in Detroit, though.
He stuck it up Drury's ass. He told him. He fucking told him straight out. I didn't want the player. You forced the player on me. This is not what my dynamic was featuring. It wasn't what I needed. It wasn't what the club needed. And I got forced to play him.
Paulie, getting back to what Matty said, though, how are you going to get rid of all this? You have to do something with these long contracts.
Listen, I'm telling you what they're got to do. The bottom line is this, just like you said. So Panarin's got, all the say in the world. All these guys that have these no movement clauses have all the movement in the world, right? Let me tell you something. If you don't think Mika would be willing to move somewhere, and that's why I said to you, there's teams that are on the cusp that have been pushed, that are going to do some stupid spending, that might have to eat some salary, whatever the case. Eat some salary and take a bag of fucking chips. It's going to be – I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not like you're going to really get a lot back from them. But you got to move the contracts. You got to clean the slate. And like you said, Kotz, and at the end of the day, I would hope after this embarrassing game again tonight, it's time to Perot needs to play every fucking night. Othman needs to play every fucking night. I don't care who you're benching. The Radishes, these guys, that guy, whoever you're benching, I don't care. I don't care to hear who you're – it doesn't matter. If Will Cooley's got to fucking sit out a couple games to wake him up, whoever it is, Trocheck, whatever it is, these young guys have got to start playing, and you got to start moving these contracts for a bag of chip, eat some money. I think there's still a market for a guy like Mika because he's having a good year, and there are teams that we talked about that year after year are almost there. They're almost there. Mika might be a player that can add to a Minnesota team and get them further. Mika might be a player who can add to a Dallas team and get them further going. Whatever the case may be, of wherever they might go, but it is time to move these guys for whatever pennies you can get, and you're going to have to eat a little bit of contract. You're going to have to do it, but it's time to clean the slate.
I agree with you. I don't disagree with it, but I'll throw this at Matty now. If I was a team right now, honestly, I would be more interested in Zibanejad than I would be Panarin.
Well, listen.
Because he does more.
He does a lot more. He plays every scenario.
One game with Mika, and if I already got a power play guy like Reinhardt, I'm giving you an example, or Kirill Kaprizov, do I need another sharpshooter to take away from the other sharpshooter I got? I don't know. I'm just throwing this at you.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Well, listen.
I believe Mika's movable, guys. I really do. Now, what you're going to get for him and what you're going to have to pay,
there's, that's where the negotiations really are going to have to happen. But Katsu, you make a great point. The guy's a center. He can play the left side. He plays in he kills penalties. He plays on the power play. He's got a hell of a shot. He plays in all situations. He still has value to at least, and I believe that Mika would be willing to go somewhere else because he's probably fucking tired of the limelight in New York. He's tired of the nonsense in New York. He's probably tired of the culture in New York and can probably use to go somewhere. I think Mika's very movable, especially because he's having a pretty good year this year. He's scoring goals, he's doing things, and again, like you said, he plays every possible scenario. He's movable. It's just a matter of making the good negotiation, having not to put too much towards, eating contract money and, what you're going to get. You're not going to get something fantastic out of him. You might get
I completely disagree with you, Paulie, that you are so undervaluing Mika right now. And everyone's want to point to the contract. The cap is exploding. $8.5 million isn't going to be as bad. He was a 62-point guy last year. He's on pace for 65 to 70 this year. He has 2 assists in the game tonight, by the way. Gabe Burrow, 2 goals.
Okay. But he's signed to what, 32?
30. 2030.
No.
Okay? I'm just listen. Listen. Okay, hear me out.
Yeah.
Philip Denault, who had 0 goals this year, $5.5 million cap hit this year and next year, went from LA to Montreal for a 2nd-round pick. The guy had played 30 some odd games. He hadn't scored a goal as a center.
So you're saying
he went for a 2nd-round pick.
Matty, you're saying he's undervalued for what you can get.
I'm saying Montreal gave him a 2nd-round pick for a guy with no goals to play their 2nd-round center.
You're arguing the point that if Mika was willing to go, you'd get more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I might
absolutely. Like you look at Carolina, right? Look at Carolina. Okay, they need a 2nd-line center badly. If they traded Kotkaniemi, who has a $4.82 million cap hit, and you take on Zibanejad, who's a far better player and would fit in perfectly in Carolina for that 2nd-line center. You don't think Carolina would give up 2 first-round picks for Mika Zibanejad?
You know what, Matty? God bless you. If you can, here's my point. My point is this. You're 100% right. He does have value. I believe he does too. What I'm saying is the management team has to get into a mindset to start moving fucking bodies. That's my point. It is time to move bodies out of this organization. Meek is one of them. I love him. Don't get me wrong. I hate to see him go. But Panarin's got to move. Mika's got to move because you got to make spots for these kids that we're not seeing play. Like you said, these kids got to have a legitimate chance. They got to get into big-time minutes. All of those things have to happen, and this team has got to go through the proper rebuild. That's why I said to you, you're right. Mika could probably bring a better bounty, but at the same time, we might get to the point where you just got to move these guys. You just got to move them. You got to move. You got to move.
If the Rangers do want a full-on rebuild, right? Soucy's going to UFA. He's probably going to go. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. They'll probably get a 2nd-round pick, maybe like a 4th or 5th too as well. Because Ryan Lindgren was a 3rd pair center, and you went for a 2nd, a 4th. He went for Parsonen and Calvin DeHaan. I know Jimmy Visu's in that. So something comparable for Soucy, who I think Soucy's actually a better defender than Lindgren. I think that'll be it. Panarin will get a haul because he'll be the best offensive player on the market. Vincent Trocheck, if you trade him, the center market's very, very thin. Slides in as a 2nd or 3rd line center on some really, really good team. You'll get a haul for him. I mean, if you just go scorch earth and trade everybody, you'll be horrible at the end of this year. You'll be horrible next year. And maybe if you draft properly by, 27, 28, you'll have some semblance of, okay, this is what the future looks like. But I have zero confidence in Chris Drury's ability to trade and draft. We don't draft well, so how do we even do that? You don't. They're in such a bad situation. And Dolan going on talk shows saying how Mike Sullivan and Chris Drury hate to lose. Yeah, it really looks like they hate to lose, I'm sure, judging by the scoreboard.
There's a lot of parts that can be moved. Susie's one of them. I'm sure a team that thinks they got a shot could use him as a fifth or sixth defenseman. I'll go back to the question when Matty said if I'm in charge. There's really nobody on this roster that I would not be afraid to trade. To be honest with you, I would not be afraid to trade anybody. That includes anybody in the goal, anybody on defense, anybody on forwards. It's time for the Rangers to reset the inner part of the organization with the scouting staff. Get the proper scouts in there to understand that they may be great in junior, they may be, but how's it going to be in the NHL? In other words, like we talk about Celebrini, you know what I mean? We talk about all these other guys out in Anaheim now. I mean, even Utah and Seattle. You look at some of these guys they drafted as young kids and how they're blossoming because they played right away. They didn't sit. They didn't ride the bus. They didn't sit on a bench so their Panarin could go out and play 25 minutes a night. This is how you got to build your team around one or two guys like that. Colorado did it with McKinnon, and they did it with Makar. Think about it. And that's what you got to find, and you got to blow. I think you got to blow it all up eventually. That's all there is.
7-2.
So nobody is safe in my books if I'm the GM.
Oh, I'm 100% with you.
I get the right price for a superstar in Shesterkin. Guess what?
Bye.
You.
It has to be.
If you're healthy, and somebody really gives me what I think is a good deal, you're gone.
It has to be an overpay.
I have to start all over.
It has to be an overpay if you're trading Shesterkin. But again, you got to look at Shesterkin. He's 30 years old right now. His team is nowhere close to competing. Like I said, if it takes a minimum of 3 years to rebuild, he's 33. Okay? Which isn't ancient, but to just be competitive, he's 33. That's why, I mean, this team is so far done. I mean, first of all, someone we didn't even mention, Lafreniere just has to go. He has to go. I mean, that is just find a problem on another team and trade Lafreniere for that problem because Lafreniere is just not going to cut it here. The kid has no confidence. Maybe he can go to a Canadian team. Maybe he can be a 25, 30 goal scorer over there. Maybe. I think he can still be a serviceable player. He's still going to be a 40 to 50 point guy as a middle six forward. That's a serviceable player. It's just not happening here. Too much hype as a number one overall pick.
He's got a no trade contract that kicks in from February to I think it's 6 teams, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Starting in February, so if something happens, it's going to have to happen pretty soon.
I mean, I do Lafreniere for Jordan Kyrou. I know Blues fans are all about getting rid of Jordan Kyrou. I would do that. Jordan Kyrou has way more upside. He's had better season.
Kyrou's a born sniper. He can put the puck in the net.
I mean, would you do Lafreniere and Carolina's first for Jordan Kyrou? I would.
Sure, why not?
I mean, I think it'd be good for both teams.
Listen, we can rain on everybody that's failed as draft choices on the Rangers. It's time for him to go on somewhere else. He might do better somewhere else. Plain and simple.
He will do better somewhere else. He will. I'm telling you
right now, he's like skating in mud. You know.
Well, I mean, listen. He still has He still has a stigma of a number one overall pick. People wanted Nail Yakupov, who was a total bust compared to Lafreniere. And just because he had that number one overall pick label, you see in the NBA how many times, even with a bust, if the guy's a number one overall pick, people will take an extra flyer on them just because they have that stigma. Okay, and Lafreniere, let's be real. Okay, he still has 45 points a season. He's still on pace for 40 points a season. That's still a solid NHL player. Let's be 100% honest with you. Is that number one overall pick material? No. Is he good defensively? No. Is he really even good on the power play? No. But he's a pretty good 5-on-5 player. And you saw flashes of brilliance, especially in that Florida series in the conference finals. So he does have talent. He does have ability. Somebody will take a flyer on him 100%. But we'll have to see.
He does have that the weight of the world of that number one thing. There's no question about it. And he has shown over his career with the Rangers, like some plays, like nobody else in the Rangers could do that. Like the puck between his leg against Carolina and stuff like the backhand goal he scored this year.
You know what?
He does show brilliance at times. It's just not enough.
Well, you know what? If they don't get rid of him and they start to move other players and he becomes the number one guy on this team because they're just going to suck and they're going to have, him and Noah Laba and Cooley and Perot and all these other guys. And
that's possible too.
Hey, at the end of the day, maybe that's the kick in the ass this kid needs to actually learn how to foster a team and use his talent for what it is. And because – like you said, the Celebrinis and the Berdards and all these other guys who had to take a beating and be on shit teams and be the number one guy. Maybe it's time for him to be the number one guy.
Lafreniere just scored.
And you know what? At the end of the day, if he becomes the number one guy that he needs to be because everybody else is gone, then, so be it. But I will tell you as we get we're gonna close it out here because it's almost 2 hours.
I got a question for the man with all the knowledge. What pick was Schaefer again? First overall?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn, that kid's good.
Yeah. It was not Lafreniere. Noah Laba deflected it, so I take that back. He, Noah Laba deflected, but Lafreniere didn't make a nice play. Noah Laba, big goal. There's our future. Perot and Laba. 3 goals tonight. That's our future.
Go. So,
see, we need to trade these veterans. Let these kids play. Let them suck. Let them suck
for a while. Yep.
All
right, boys. It's been fun. It's been a fun night. I think we've made up for the last 3 weeks for sure. We get to do it all again in a week. What is this? The 14th. So
21st.
Yeah,
it's like you said, Paul. It don't matter anymore whether they play or they don't.
No. Yeah. Well, I'm going on vacation, but I'll
again? You're going on vacation again? Don't you go on?
Must be nice.
Next week, I'm going on vacation, but I'll be here.
Listen, I
was going to go away up to the lake house this week too, but unfortunately, my son's favorite football team won the other night. So I got to stick around for at least one more week.
A Canadian liking football?
But good show, boys.
I'll tell you what, I've been a San Francisco 49er fan since 1970. Okay?
Good show, boys.
I didn't think you liked anything about San Francisco, Kotze.
That's the only thing I like. I don't like I don't like anything else about that. That's for sure. It's a shithole.
Let's do this. Let's end the live stream. Hey, Maddie, thank you everybody from TikTok. Make sure you push it. It's the Instigators Hockey Show. Make sure you include the word "the." It's the Instigators Hockey Show. Very important when they're doing their web search. Ricky's got to make some. I want to see everybody of these bad boys pretty soon here. So we got to get that on the website. And everything else that's going on. Beth has not been feeling well, so
I know that. Get better, Beth.
Thoughts and prayers to Beth.
Yes.
Feel better.
So we're gonna have to pick up the promotional side of the marketing here, guys.
You got it.
With that being said, I wanted to say 15 years. Good night to everybody. We'll see you in a week. We'll be back next Wednesday, regardless. So let me end the live stream real quick. Good night. We'll see you in a week. Like and subscribe, please, and check us out on all social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We don't have an X page. We might have to work on that. We check out the website and everything else. Thanks for joining. We'll see you in a week.